Hey, what's going on, guys? Botch TV here, and I'm here with another character profile. So the last one we did was on Bryan Outlaw. This one is on Jason Outlaw, his younger brother. So Jason Outlaw is the younger brother of Bryan Outlaw at 21 years old, and a dynamic between him and Bryan, it's your typical brotherly love. However, I wanted to create this sort of issue between Bryan and Jason, but it was more of an internal issue for Jason. See, Jason feels like he's always being compared to his brother Bryan all the time. It's kind of the same dynamic that Luna and Sky suffer from, where Luna is always the underestimated person. They're always like, well, why can't you be like your sister Sky? It's kind of the same thing with Jason. However, it's less about society, like giving him this insecurity. It's more of himself. Like, he feels that he is underestimated, that he is the outlier of the Outlaw family, kind of, where he's not the guy that's accomplishing as much as Luna and Sky have. He was tag team champions with Bryan Outlaw at one point. I believe he was television champion at one point when that title existed. I think he was world champion at one point too as well. So he's had his fair share of accomplishments, but nothing on the scale of his sisters and his cousin, or actually his sisters and his brother. And so he kind of goes through this turmoil, this internal turmoil, to where, like, he's starting to find himself in the sense of he wants to not just be Bryan's younger brother, but, find his identity and outside of the rest of the Outlaw family, because he was associated with Bryan not just by blood, but by that tag team that they were in for quite a while. I remember when I originally had paired them up, and they were so associated with each other as a tag team that Jason really never thought that his singles career would take off. Yes, he's had a couple of singles titles, but his reigns weren't as, like, monumental as Bryan's. His sister's reigns were more monumental than his, and it's not a sense of jealousy. It's him wanting to be better, him wanting to be as good as they are, in his own way. And he just goes through this internal struggle of wanting to achieve that. And this is actually a custom facial texture on him. He does have a custom facial texture on him. All the Outlaws do now. But when he originally came around, he didn't have that. So, most of these Outlaws definitely do not look like they do now. He's probably going to have the same texture for 2K23. So I'm going to try and get it on him for 2K23. But Jason, he's starting to establish himself. He has this goal for, season 14, when season 14 unleashes, to where he wants to, like, go against all odds and really establish himself as a singles competitor, because he hasn't really been able to do that. I would say he's had a couple of reigns, but like I said, nothing monumental. So I'm pretty sure within season 14 we're going to do something with him to where he actually becomes that monumental guy that he wants to be. He wants to be just as good as his brothers and sisters, and and his cousin, and, you know, wants to be absolutely, you know, insane and just do his job. Because for the Outlaws, this is more than just earning titles. This is building a legacy. He wants to be a part of that. He wants to be a significant part of that as a family. And so I kind of was inspired by my real life friend, a real life school friend of mine, whose brother was always the guy that got in trouble. He was a troubled kid in school. He never really gave a shit about school or anything like that. And then, you know, he was the guy that, you know, constantly got associated poorly because of his brother. He was kind of guilty by association. And, you know, that's what kind of inspired this dynamic, is that people thought that my friend was his brother, and he was nothing like him. Sure, he had trouble in school as well, but this kid, I mean, his brother, you know, he was more troubled than he was. You know, even gotten in trouble with the law a couple times, and, you know, almost went to jail, you know, that type of thing. And people thought that he wasn't, you know, going to set the record straight. People thought that he wasn't gonna, you know, be anything because of the way his brother was. And so that kind of inspired this dynamic between the Outlaw family, was kind of having Luna being the outlier in the female side and Jason being the outlier in the male side of the Outlaws. And so that's what kind of inspired that. I really hope that I can do more with Jason this time around. I really want to be able to do more with him. And I really want to be able to create some cool stuff with him in 2K23. So let me know what you guys think about this small little character profile. Not much here on Jason, but he is a very, very interesting character. All the Outlaws have very, very interesting stories in their own little ways. Let me know what you guys think about Jason Outlaw, and I will catch you guys on another video.